is 4's Enuff Podcast. I'm Tracy and
AB4 coming at you. Today we got some EP baseball to talk about. Last year on one of the episodes of the Doughty Show, AB and I went over his 11-year-old year first half highlights. This year, Tracy and I are going to go over his first half 12-year-old highlights. And we'll throw in a little bit of other stuff here and there. Maybe even recap his career. But let's get into these highlights. This was actually the first game of the year.
wearing number 15.
For the first time, he's always been 13. On the Kiwanis field, it's not our favorite field, but
AB pitching. Yes, CNC.
and it's going to be cut to a lot of other highlights. There's Elm Street. We love that part.
Oh, beautiful place. Beautiful.
Just played our last game there last night.
They have the new video board.
Gotcha.
At the beginning of the season, he was using that Easton ADB bat.
Yep. Switch to Quattro after practice.
Ooh, what a foul. What a foul. Who are we playing? Kiwanis?
That looks like Ross, maybe?
Woo.
Yeah, he did pretty good at pitching. He didn't pitch a whole lot like he was expecting to, but he did well. I think the big adjustment from 15 to 13 went over fine.
Took me a couple games to get used to it.
Let's see it. Why we got all these fouls in the highlights? Like we don't have.
Woo.
Strike two.
got lucky on that check. Got real lucky on that.
He didn't swing. More so was the pitch or strike.
Is this Jack pitching?
No, he did pitch.
Sounds like something's going on in the field behind us.
Probably hit him.
Not, not much on our field. Come
Ball
on.
went flying over there. Come on, give us something to hit.
Got a ball. Optimist. Is that Elevate pitching?
I don't know.
23?
That might be the Branson
Maybe.
kid. RBI.
Yes, sir.
Led his team in RBIs this year.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He had quite a few walks this season, too. Straight.
Speedy big boy. Nice defense.
Yes. Good throw even from the knees. Eddie Dowdy. Pitcher.
Came in off the bench a lot this year pitching. He was usually the first one here.
Yeah, he came in that game and it was tied at 0. If I'm not mistaken, he got the strikeout at the end of the game to win it. He said Mason wasn't calling the curveball because he was ready to get the game over with. The fastball just made it faster. Again, this is just the first half highlights. We're not even going to go over the second half. Speedy big boy.
Are these all the North State highlights?
Yes. Like a double. Oh, triple. Oh yeah, I remember that. I wanted him to go home, but I didn't let him go.
Oh.
But they didn't give him a triple to double to go.
He set a goal of 5, and I think he got more than his goal. What's going on with the picture right there? It's just crazy. It was the TV. Yeah, I remember that, watching that. Denton.
Tracy. Looked out.
Oh, that was Host Lions game. Ooh, Host
Looked out.
Lions
I
game.
remember that. I remember he looked out.
Ooh, Host Lions game. Man, that was a game.
Not AB, the person at home.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I know.
That might be the only call we got all year.
If 1, 2, 3.
Alright. Now, just because those were the first half highlights doesn't mean I hadn't got a little something extra. We're going to leave you with his very last Little League at bat, which was a long at bat, but it was a walk. And we also got his first Greenville Little League homer. Enjoy.
It's 3-1 now. On the runner still at the corners. Chase Davis made his way over there. They're sliding under the tag. Be safe. A.B. Dottie batting now. First pitch to Dottie bouncing off the outside. 1-0. Dottie says he likes cheering for the Yankees, and Aaron Judge is his favorite player, and he sends this one long and out of the park. Dottie with a 3-run home run. That one, as soon as it came off the bat, you could tell it was flying. That gives Eastern Plumbing 3 more. Extend that lead 6-1.
This clip we got from America's Got Talent. It's Tracy's first time seeing it.
With posting content on the internet, it inevitably comes the trolls. And so I thought I would take the hate comments from my YouTube videos and turn them into a song.
That's a good idea.
Wow.
Thank you.
So tonight, you're gonna take ugliness and make it beautiful. Can't wait to hear the song.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Sound is so trash, her voice is very bad, bad, very, very bad, very, 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 very bad. I would feel bad for my neighbors if I did this to them. You can't say she's so you make the worst covers ever, some destroy machine. I'd like to hear her singing in front of me. I know it'd be lame, totally lame. If you're looking for advice, even though you suck at singing, don't try so hard. Leave it, just stop what you do. She's so overrated, the way she sings a song is exaggerated. I don't understand the hype, sorry, I just unsubscribe. She's so overrated, I used to like the song, but now I hate it. The song makes me wanna die, sorry, I just unsubscribe. Why does anybody like this? Don't confuse this coming with hate, but that said, this sucks big sweaty with a side of nachos.
So, what did you think about it?
Very creative. She took all those terrible things that people would say and put it together in a song, and it was great.
Well, it was a great song, great voice. My question is she more of a great singer or is it more of a gimmick? Is she gonna have to keep going back to her Twitter to get a song, or she got another idea, or is she just gonna sing?
It's a good question. I guess we'll see if she goes through on America's Got Talent.
Yes, we will. All right, let's take a little break. Let's go outside and see if I can hit 10 free throws in a row. of our favorite podcast people, Christina P. From Your Mom's House, Where Your Mom's At, all that good stuff. You know, Married to Tom Segura. She actually had an accident and hurt her ankle. The crazy thing is, her husband just had horrible accidents himself. Yep. We got some videos here where they're going to explain it a little more, and we're going to talk about it. So let's start with the first video.
Let's recap the story together. I will say this: I'll start, and then you can take over. So Sunday evening, it was a Sunday evening. I remember I went over to watch the fight, the Mayweather Jake Paul fight with friends, and then
Logan Paul.
Sorry, Logan Paul. The other one of them is accused by the New York Times of being.
All right. So basically, what he's saying right here is he was just planning on going over to the fight. That's how his day's going.
The Logan Paul and Mayweather put on their exhibition. I come home. You're already in bed. It's not that late. It's probably like 11 or something.
Here's the thing, Gene.
Yeah.
I just done my weekend in Chomaha.
Right.
So I didn't sleep the night before. I was really exhausted.
Mhm.
I just collapsed into the bed.
Oh, I bet. And I'll tell you this. I had my doubts about going to watch the fight only because of how tired I was. Because what happened was when you were gone, of course, I had more dad duty. I didn't sleep well Friday night. I slept worse Saturday night. So I was like, I should just stay home. But I decided to go. And I came home, and the best thing that I could hear was you're like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to take the boys to summer camp. Like, I'm going to take them in the morning. And I was like, oh my God. I started to get a boner about how much sleep I was going to get, you know, because I knew I was sleep deprived. And I was like, I'm going to sleep 9 hours tonight. Like, I started to get like a rush from it. I was like, you know what I mean? When you know you're going to sleep.
So basically, what's going on now is life's still normal. He's thinking about getting a lot of sleep. She's off away doing stand-up, and you know, injuries are far, far from their mind.
So like I said, it's 2 a.m. It's a new house, so you're not like oriented to like the way when you live in a house for years. All the lights are off, and I'm like, you keep saying my name, so I run to the stairwell, and I'm like, what? And you're like, I think I sprained my ankle. And so I go down the stairs, and I see you sitting there, and you're like, turn the light on.
Well, here's the thing. I think there was a partial hall light on.
All right, so now it's happened. You know, she thinks she sprained her ankle, but they don't quite know the severity of it. She's not really even hurt that bad.
Wake up early tomorrow. This is going to be great. And then 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear you just say, ow, just like that. And I want to put this, like, people who have lived with other people for a long time understand that there are like screams and shouts and things that are familiar. And to me, it sounded like a familiar, like, I just ran into a coffee table, or we have little kids, there's toys everywhere. You go, ow, and then you're like, there's a fucking fire truck in the hallway? You know what I mean? Like, it was that type of ow. It wasn't an alarming, call for your...
All right, so again, he's saying it's not alarming. You know, it's kind of like he's probably thinking she stumped her toes.
Stepped on a Lego.
Yeah, something like that.
For you to be like, this fucking thing. And then you just go, ow, like the second time. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, I'm starting to wake up because I heard you. And then the thing that made me sit up was you started to call me by name. You started to go, Tom, and I sat up and I'm like, what? And
Is that how it's serious? Is when I say your name? Like,
Yeah,
is that? Is that? I just didn't know what I sound like when I'm being serious.
Well, you started to say my name, and then you said it twice, and I sit up, and then you started to say it more. And so as I stand up, and start walking towards you, you're continuing to say it. So I run down the hall.
So now he's a little worried. He's like, what's going on? Is she okay? We still don't know.
When you came down and I put my arm up, I'm like, just fucking help me up. I can't get up. And the look on your face.
Well, because you go, I got a sprained ankle, and I turned the light on, and I was like, that's not sprained.
All right, so obviously it looked bad. You know, we'll put some pictures up right here. We'll see her ankle, see her getting with the medic. They're in their new house. She didn't know where she was at. It was dark, 2 o'clock in the morning. I think one of the most funny things they were talking about was the doctors and the medics kept asking, how did you fall down the steps? You know, like they were trying to get her to tell on Tom.
Right.
Like, you know, they probably pushed her down the steps.
Well, you remember, I believe it was our son's 3rd birthday party. I stepped off of some steps and dislocated my ankle.
Yes, and it was bad. And as soon as I saw her with her foot hanging up in the air, dangling, I picked our son up and walked away and I let her parents handle her.
Yes. It was pretty bad. So I heard the pop, and I'm just amazed that Christina wasn't in more pain.
Well, tell the people what kind of surgery and stuff you had.
Well, I ended up having a dislocation with a triple fracture, which they said was very rare. Luckily, they did not try to pop it in and call the orthopedic surgeon that was on call, and he did surgery and ended up putting probably a 6 to 8 inch rod in my leg with about 7 screws up one side, and the other side has 3 screws going into my foot and ankle to keep part of my bone on and to deal with that triple fracture. So, and I walk great today. I don't really have any issues whatsoever. So hopefully she won't have any issues once she gets healed.
Yep, and Tom actually has another surgery coming up on his arm.
Right. Which he had some nerve damage on his arm, so that may be why he's having surgery or something. So, yeah.
All right, we got some questions here.
We do.
Yeah, from Twitter.
Okay.
The first question is from Skinny Girl Summer for Life.
Okay.
Asks, how could I go about getting into pro wrestling? I'm gonna let Tracy take this one.
That's your cup of tea, not mine.
I would say the best thing to do is finding a good wrestling school. You want to find one that's close to you, as close as you can find. There's many of them out there if you get on Facebook. If you can't find that, try to befriend a wrestler on Facebook. When I say a wrestler, I'm not talking about The Rock and Roman Reigns. I'm talking about an independent wrestler.
Right.
Somebody you probably don't know, or maybe you've seen at a show that you've been to. If you can find those type of people, it's not hard to get into pro wrestling. That doesn't mean it's easy to get to WWE and AEW and places like that. Even if you put in all the hard work and everything, there's still so many spots. You got to know the right people, have the right look. But yeah, it is possible to just find you a good wrestling school. All right, the next question is from Sky Benz 635, and they ask, can Tracy please sing the Star Spangled Banner or AB Beatbox? I think we can do that.
Oh, say, can you see, right? Oh, say, can you see? I don't Kimberly.
Alright, that's enough of that. She ain't good enough. Alright, and the last question is from Dog Park 123, and they ask, can we please talk about the Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul fight?
Oh man.
We've touched on it a little bit before. I would really like to talk about it after, but let's touch on it a little bit now.
Okay.
What do you think? Let me tell you, Jake Paul is bigger. I've seen them up against each other. He's way bigger, way less experienced than Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
The question comes to this: does Tyron Woodley have a chin left?
Right.
If he has a chin, he should win.
Right. Because I think Jake's definitely going to be very hungry and aggressive and try. But I'm going with Woodley. I'm staying with the veteran. I think he's going to have the skills and be able to beat him.
I just gotta go with Jake Paul. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I believe that too, but I just don't think he would do it if he was gonna lose. If he really thought he was gonna lose, he really wouldn't do it. Or maybe he's just, I'm just not sure about Tyron.
Woodley. Right.
We will see.
We'll see. All right, we're about to take a break and do Studio Cribs. Welcome to Studio Cribs.
Okay, the studio isn't just a studio. When we're not here using it as a studio, it transforms into a trophy room.
All right, we are here in our Studio Cribs. This is in our Dolly studio, and it is full of memorabilia. And we're going to start here with the academics. We're starting here with Little AB. All these awards are for Little AB from elementary school. Math awards, AR reading awards, science awards. Now this is his daddy's degree from East Carolina University, and it took him a long time and a lot of sweat and tears to get that degree. Continuing on with my son getting music certificates. Right on, honor roll. Spelling bee, he participated in the spelling bee 2 years. More reading, spelling bee. This is when we went down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on one of our trips, and we went on a pirate tour. More math goals and principles list and art certificate. Art, AB doesn't like art, but he got a certificate. Math, what was that called? Math Masters Challenge. He's won so many awards, I can't even remember them all. So these are all academic awards. Now, we also have some swimming awards when he was little. And this was an award from Parrot where he participated in the etiquette eating program. Now, we're going to continue over to Taekwondo. Taekwondo was pretty much AB's first sport. He started doing Taekwondo when he was around 4 years old. And we finished at the end of 3rd grade when he earned his first degree black belt, which is first degree black belt. Him and one of his buddies got their first degree at the same time. But these are belts, these are awards that he won when he was a teeny tiny tiger. And these are all the belts that he had to go through. to get to this first degree black belt. So, can he remember any of that today? Who knows? Okay, now this is kind of the early days and the miscellaneous and the special sports area. We see where he started off with soccer when he was teeny tiny. Soccer was not his thing. He continued on when he started basketball, then when he started playing baseball. Actually the first team he was on was a small fry team. And his age was actually a big fry team because his age was wrong in the system. Played more basketball, more baseball. This is all through Parks and Rec. Wonderful programs. And right on down here, still looking at your big fry and your basketball and all of that. Now up here, this row is our special row. This is AB's 10-year-old year of Little League. He made the All-Stars team, and their team of 13 ended up winning the District 4 championship. That sent them to states in Charlotte, where they won the state in North Carolina State Championship in Charlotte. Then they came back to Greenville and won the Tournament of State Champions, the toss for the 9 and 10-year-olds. And that was a great time traveling around with friends. It took about 5 weeks of our summer, and he had a great time and he learned a lot that season. All right, so here's our Eastern Plumbing beginning. AB was drafted in 2018 as a 9-year-old to the team Eastern Plumbing. These were his teammates in his first year from 2018. His teammates from 2019, 2020, and this past season of 2021. Here's him hitting as a 9-year-old. This is the jersey that he wore for 3 years, 9, 10, and 11. These are all the 12-year-olds. And these are the 9-year-olds. And this is him pitching, might have been his 9-year-old year. 10-year-old year? 10-year-old year, okay, 10-year-old year. All right, we are continuing with our EP. This was something special that one of our favorite photographers does, 252 Buzz. He also does our baseball cards for us, and this year, we don't have this year's baseball cards up there, but we're getting those soon. This is his 12-year-old year award that he received. This was the lanyard that he had to have last year because of the C-19 crap. His helmet from his first year. Because we couldn't do the baseball cards during 2020, we did figurines. And the balls represent different wonderful things. Home runs, pitching, game-winning hits, all of those kind of fun things that you just remember. And last award is 2021 regular season champs for Eastern Plumbing. All right, lastly, we have pretty much our travel baseball. Starting with East Carolina Tribe. Actually, I take that back. We started with Greenville Athletics. AB played on the Greenville Athletics team for 2 years. And that was kind of a foundation for us. And my husband always had a dream to have his own travel ball team, and he did it. So we became East Carolina Tribe, and we had a lot of his teammates. These are some of the awards that he won over the years from travel ball. Also, this is, there's some basketball. 1 year when Big AB coached, which he doesn't do a lot, he coached. This was TOSC from Greeny League. And then this is Tribe Baseball. We'll be starting our 3rd season of this. Home run balls, pitching, first and second home run balls, rings, awards, lots of fun.
What we're going to talk about now is we're going to recap AB's Little League career.
Okay.
All right, now let's just talk about what we remember when he was a 9-year-old kid.
Right.
The first time. I'm gonna let you start us off.
Holy moly, I was so scared for him to get up there when he was 9 years old, even though he was a big kid. Those kids that were 12 then were giants.
Yes, his very first game, his very first at bat, I would say, and before we saw the guy, we had been hearing about the kid before that who had already aged out. He was throwing like 75. You know, he was like 13 probably. But we really hadn't seen anything like it.
Right.
But we get there, and the kid on the mound is bigger than me. He's probably 6'2". And my heart is just beating so hard. I'm like, oh man. And he hit the ball. So it kind of put us at ease there, and he had a good year.
He did have a good year.
Yep. I remember he had about 7 hits in all. He got hot at the beginning and kind of cooled off at the end because I remember he had got a little leg kick instructed into his game and it kind of threw him off. What else about 9-year-old years? Let's see. We know he didn't do any pitching as a 9-year-old. It's hard to get onto the infield as a 9-year-old, and I always knew that he's a first baseman. But we had a good first baseman. They tried him in the outfield a little bit, and he's not that great in the outfield, but for some reason or another, he was better in the infield, and he found a spot at third base.
Right.
That was pretty good.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he was very fortunate that he actually got quite a bit of playing time compared to most 9-year-olds who usually get, two innings. So that was a good experience for him.
Yeah, we had I remember there was a 12-year-old that was hurt or out for some reason.
Right.
And so he got a little more playing time than usual. And a lot of times he got 6 innings.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go on over to the 10-year-old year. What sticks out? He had a game-winning hit. The other team's coach actually walked the player in front of him to get the AB, and he made him pay. That might have been the best moment of the Little League.
Right. That was a sweet, sweet moment.
He made an all-star team. He began pitching a little bit. Our team was actually in last place that year.
Yes.
And come time for the tournament, we had to play the #1 seed, and AB got to start pitching. They had just taught him a curveball, and his fastball wasn't very fast. And he goes out there as a 10-year-old, and what was it, 2 innings, 3 innings, whatever it was, they didn't score. And they could barely hit it, and they were starting to catch up to it. So then they bring in the 12-year-old who's throwing fast, and they can't hit it because it just seems like it's going 100 at this point. That was another good thing.
Yep. And we ended up beating and knocking out the #1 seed that year.
Yep, that was that game.
Yep.
11-year-old year.
Oh man.
COVID year. Pandemic year.
But we were so blessed to have a season. Almost everybody canceled baseball. The Greenville Little League and the city of Greenville worked their tails off, and We had quite a bit of guidelines to follow, and only one child got one ticket to go to the games. But they made a way for those kids to play.
Yeah, and another thing that's great about Little League is you get 4 years. But in those 4 years, we had 3 coaches.
Right.
The first year, the coach had left after that year. So then as a 10-year-old, we had a new coach. And as an 11-year-old, we got the same coach, but he's leaving halfway through.
And he was only leaving halfway through because the season started late.
Right.
They had actually held off moving to have their son finish his 12-year-old Little League year and for them to stay around and be able to coach. And because the pandemic pushed our season back 2 or 3 months, we were still able to play, but it just was delayed.
But adding the new coach,
Yes.
So he's getting to acclimate with the team, and so when AB's 12-year-old year come around, he already knew the team.
Yes.
So it was a good transition.
Yep.
What happened as a 12-year-old?
Well, 11-year-old season, we actually beat every North State team. And 12-year-old season, we beat every North State team.
That's right.
And the 12-year-old season, we were the only team that beat every North State team. So that was wonderful to start the season out with that kind of record. And then we kept playing well. Those boys played hard. They listened. We faced all the hardest pitchers, and they kept winning. And they kept winning, and they kept winning.
Yep. And AB had a 1.7 ERA, a home run, lots of good hits, led the team in RBIs. Just another great year.
Yes. We ended the regular season as the champs.
Regular season champs.
Regular season champs.
Yep. 19-3. I think we were the only team in the whole league that beat every team in the whole league.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.